After 34 years living in houses, I made the jump a month ago into a van for full-time van life. This video is a month review of how that's going. Psst, the last week has been a lot harder than the first 3. We're going to talk honestly about what I'm enjoying, what I'm not, things that I thought would be a problem that aren't, things that I didn't even consider that are an issue. So hopefully I can help somebody else who's thinking about doing it and give you some realistic advice as to what it's been like. Let's get into it.
Typical van life. The second I sit down to record, the water pump starts making noise. Oh gosh, I am well in the swing of things now. Good day, welcome back. I'm Becca, and this is a month review of living in a van. I have gone from living in a house for 33 years, 34 years, and then into a van. And whoa, has it been a lifestyle change. There are so many things that I want to talk about, but we are settled. Both of us, me and the cat, are very, very settled now. Don't want to go back into a house. Thank you very much. Absolutely love it. I had a leak. Shh. The Patreons know about that, but I haven't told YouTube yet. So on week 2, in a rainy night, there was a big leak. So stay tuned for that. Okay, let's start with the good stuff, the stuff that I am enjoying the mostest. Being outside and in nature. Just being in the van, you're in it more, because the second you step outside that door, you are outside. And yeah, I am absolutely loving that. Calms the system down. Nature is mother's healer. Absolutely. And also the wildlife. The wildlife goes in there as well. Nature, wildlife, being outside, all of it. Absolutely flipping love it. The next best thing is just having everything with you wherever you are all the time. The amount of times I've been somewhere and I've gone, oh, I need that. And then I'm like, oh, I don't have to go back to a house to get it. It's just in the van. So you're always with the van, pretty much. So you just don't forget anything. And everything you need is there. It's the little things. Unexpectedly, I mean, I did want this to happen, but it happened a lot quicker than I expected. Reduced screen time. Phone, laptop, iPad. I haven't even opened my iPad in about 2 weeks. And I used to be on that every single night in the house. It's so interesting to observe these changes. From my opinion, there is nothing but positives can come from less screen time all around. So I'm up for that one. I'm enjoying that one very much. The next thing, which is so simple but so incredible. If you are building a van, for the love of God, put a skylight above your bed. Falling asleep, looking at the moon and the stars, or waking up straight away and opening that and just seeing bright blue sky, it is incredible. Going out the top of it, looking out the top of it, absolutely love it. Cannot recommend a skylight above your bed enough. I wish I'd put one here. I know I've got the fan there, which is another thing I'm really enjoying, a fan. I've never had a fan in a house, but whoa, how useful is having a fan in a house? Anytime there's a smell, you pop it on. Anytime there's a bit of moisture in the air, you pop it on. I now basically have it running on the lowest setting all day, and I just don't get any condensation or anything. And I just absolutely, I'm in love with that fan. Really also enjoying just the slower pace of everything. You have to, because there's so many jobs and stuff. I don't settle on an evening until about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Whereas in the house, I'd be done and dusted by 6, and then you've got all the evening time. So slower pace of life, I'm absolutely loving as well. And finally, the thing I am enjoying the most is having my cat with me. Having Savannah with me is amazing. My little travel companion, somebody to talk to, just having an animal in here. You know, I'm sure it's the same with a dog. It doesn't need to be a cat, but just if you're on your own traveling, having an animal is absolutely wonderful. However, the things I am not enjoying, number 1 on the list, is having Savannah in the van with me. The mud. Oh, she is the most difficult part about this. If I didn't have the cat, the stress levels of moving in and sorting everything out would have been reduced dramatically. She is the most difficult part about this. I am absolutely fine. But whoa, an animal, when you go outside and it's wet and muddy, or there's grass, and then she comes in, there is just paw marks everywhere. I have to now, first time she did it, she ran inside after it'd been raining in the mud, basically ran everywhere, all over my white bedding, all over my beautiful sofa. Then she ran into the cab and put mud all over the front of the cab. And I was just stood there like, oh, I need to learn how to do something different here. So as much as it is amazing having a cat in the van, it is also the most difficult thing about it. As she pops ahead behind the camera now, trying to come through. She's wonderful. I mean, it's nothing against her. And it's because, you know, when she's on a lead, I've kind of got to keep an eye on her, so I can't really relax and do anything. Whereas when I was in a house, I could just open the door and let her go, and then she'd come back. Now, I am absolutely certain that she would be fine if I let her go off the lead now. However, my anxiety, I can't deal with that yet. I need to purchase a proper GPS cat tracker for her. She's got a harness, which is great. I can actually, because I didn't want the tracker on her neck because they're really big and heavy, but what I'm actually going to do is create a pocket for it on the harness and put it in there. At the moment, she's just got an air tag on her. But if anyone's using air tag, you know that they like disappear for 20 minutes and they're not live and you can't track them. So yeah, she is the most difficult thing. Where is she? There she is, see? Hey, Poppet. Yeah, good girl. You're the most difficult thing about this, aren't you? You're wonderful and I love you here, but you are absolutely a challenge. Okay, the only other two things I'm not enjoying is just the mud, because there's no porch or anything like that. It is just a bit of a disaster. Well, no, it's not. I've just got to get used to doing things a bit differently. So the rain and the mud, bit of a nightmare, not going to lie. And also chore day. Laundry, filling your fuel, filling your water, filling your LPG, doing your shopping, doing your cleaning. Like chores, there's a lot more chores. There's a hell of a lot more chores. And I've essentially lost a day to doing chores at the moment because I'm still trying to figure out and get into a routine and, you know, most efficient way to do things. But yeah, they're the things that I'm not so enjoying. However, I wouldn't change them to being back in a house at all. You know, paying £400 a month for electric just blows my mind. Oh, free electric. That's the best thing in here. That is without a doubt the best thing in here. I still can't get used to that. Free electric. I don't even check the batteries. Since March, I haven't even had to check the batteries ever. It's just constant. Don't matter what the weather is, doesn't matter what I'm doing. I've just constantly got free electricity. And that is, oh my days, game changer. Loving it. Okay, so the things that have surprised me. I put a video out saying the things that I'm dreading about van life. Well, the things that I thought I would dread are actually fine. And the things that I didn't even think about are sort of an issue. So interesting how this works. So I thought I was going to hate the washing up. It's really not a problem because you can't let it stack up. Like if I was in a house, I would just put stuff by the side of the sink and just let it go until I had a full load and then wash it. Well, you can't do that here. So washing up an odd plate and a bowl or a pan and a spoon, you know, it's not that much of a problem. How little water I use has really surprised me. 100 litres is 7 to 10 days, easy. With showers, easy. And now then, side note, I haven't actually washed my hair in that shower yet. I am going into a house to do that once a week, but I just have like body showers in there, so they're only 2-minute showers. But yeah, barely use, like, surprised how little water I use. And I'm not even trying. I'm not skimping. I just use what I want, but it just lasts a while, so that's good. Oh, I've already mentioned this one, but yeah, how incredible the solar is and the battery is a real surprise. Through the winter months, December, January, February, I think I will need to like drive and stuff, but I'm planning at least a month away in Europe over winter, so we're not going to have that problem. But yeah, generally just the solar and the batteries, absolutely amazing. So surprised at how well they work. Thank you very much, Dad, for telling me not to skimp on them and to buy proper equipment. That was great advice. The other thing that really surprised me was how quickly I got used to the compostable toilet and how little it smells. People say this on YouTube videos and I'm like, there's no way you can poop in a bucket and it not smell. Well, flipping heck, Simplu, you have done a marvellous job with that fan and the carbon filter. You can't, and I've asked people when they've come in, I've asked so many people, does it smell? Can you smell anything? You can't. The bit that smells most is the wee part, which is surprising. But again, that is what other people have said on videos. The wee part does tend to smell a little, I'm not saying it smells. It's just when you sit on it and you wee, obviously you can smell. So what I do is I just add a bit of spray, like cleaning spray down every time I go. It's like a little flush, I suppose. And then that's sorted that. So yeah, really impressed with how cool and easy the compost loo is. Love it. Another thing that was surprising is how quickly I felt safe. Like this is now my little safe space and I love being in the van. And to start with, I felt a bit like I shouldn't be places. But now I'm just like concerned packed in a lay-by doing whatever I want. I get stuff out the back now. I'm getting more confident. I sit out and stuff and I'm on the roof. Yeah, so really surprised at how quickly I've taken to it. The other thing that has surprised me is how much I use my grease cell. Now, you know, this was a brand deal and they were kind enough to send me another one so I could give it to one of you guys. Hi, Stephen. Hope you're enjoying it. But wow, I am obsessed with this thing. I use it almost every day. If I want to use my laptop in bed, the plug in the kitchen is just a little bit too far away to be comfortable enough with the lead, and I don't want to put an extension cable in it and it sinks. So I use this beast, and actually you put that on the bed and I sit my laptop on the top of it, and that's like the stand. So it's like a little stand in bed as well. But yeah, I'm really surprised at how much I'm using my Greasel. If you are considering van life, I would strongly advise to get a portable power station. There's a link in the description if you want the Greasel. But honestly, portable power stations, the bee's knees, love it. Okay, things I still forget to do. There is a lot to remember with van life, like even just turning the gas on when you pull up somewhere, or, you know, the water pump. The water pump now I just leave on all the time, but there are still a couple of things that I'm forgetting to do. Number one, as you've seen, emptying the pee bucket. Oh my days. There's a story from the last video. If you've not seen it, go watch it. There was also another time where it was, and I mean like this close to the top. So the first time I did it, I'd left about that much space. Well, I did it again, like 2 days after. I filled it too high again. So now I've set an alarm on my phone every other day to empty the pee bucket, because I just forget, because it's just like a normal toilet. I genuinely just forget that I need to do that. So, and it doesn't smell, so you don't get a reminder. I do always forget to lock the cupboards as well before I drive off, and I go around a corner and I just hear this boom, boom, and I'm look behind me and I'm like, pull over, Becca, put the locks on the cupboards. So they're the two things, even after a month, that I'm still forgetting to do.
Okay, so it's been a few days. I started filming this video on Tuesday. It's now Saturday. I've had a week in between those 2 days, so we're finishing it off now. I am currently in somewhere again in the north. This one, Savannah, is being an enormous pain in the backside. So I said, didn't I, in what I filmed on Tuesday, that one of my things I'm enjoying most about the van is having the cat, and it's also the thing I'm enjoying least about the van. Which I know probably doesn't make sense, but it's great to have the company. But my word, now she's comfortable in the van and settled and knows this is home, she wants to be out all the time. Like, all the time. As soon as I pull up somewhere, this is what we get. She sits by the door. She sits by the door, and all I get is this meow. Meow, meow, meow. Constant. Now, in a house, you can just open the door and let her go. I cannot do that in the van. And as she's getting more settled, it's actually becoming more difficult with the animal. And now this is partly my fault because I haven't got her a GPS tracker yet, so I'm not comfortable just letting her out. So because the weather's still not great, on an evening, when I pull up to one of my local spots, it's fine to just open the door and let her out there. I know that she's fine. She's on the lead. She's not a problem. And she'll be outside for a couple of hours. Then I want to make some food. So I bring her in, because you can't properly shut the sliding door when she's got the lead on, because the lead is hooked just above the door. So I have to have the door ajar, which means when you've got the heating on, it's kind of, you're just basically throwing away money because the heating's just going out the door ever so slightly. But it's not warm enough yet to have the door wide open. So I have to put the heating on. And then when I want to cook and I want to eat, I don't want to eat in a draft. So I bring her in and I do my cooking, and I want to eat my dinner, you know, in peace and quiet with the door shut and in my own privacy, without having to be on guard just in case somebody's going to come and open the door, which I know they're not, but you know, you've got to be vigilant about these things. So I bring her in, I finish off cooking my tea, and I eat my tea, and the entire time I am sitting and eating my food, I've just got meow, 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 meow. Haven't I, Poppet? And there's only so much of that you can take. I'm ashamed to say I have actually got quite frustrated with her this week, and I have yelled at her, and I have picked her up and put her in the cab and just shut the doors and just left her in there, because I'm like, I cannot deal with it. You know, normally in the house 9 p.m. was her home time, but in the van I can't have the door open till 9 p.m. Yeah, Savannah, especially these last couple of weeks, I have been tear my hair out stressed about her, to be honest. I need to just get a GPS collar for her, and then I can just let her out. I know that if I let her off, she will come back into the van. She has pulled up to the side of the van and like meows to come in, which is what she used to do when we were in the house. So I know she knows this is home. My only problem is that sometimes you park not close to, but near a very busy road. If she goes this way into the fields, it's not a problem. But if she runs that way and then a car whizzes past and she gets hit, I can't. So yeah, you can understand. I won't go on and on and on about it, but the logistics of having an animal in the van make it twice as challenging as it actually is. Like if it was just me, you'd be getting more videos out and stuff, but the sheer change in routine for both of us and the amount of extra work I've got to do just to maintain this and keep it as it is at the moment it's a huge lifestyle change. It's a really huge lifestyle change, and I am still finding my feet. Just everything that you had a way of doing, you have to do it differently in the van, so things are just taking a lot longer to do than I expected. So where were we before I stopped recording because I had to go to my appointment? The leak. I had a leak. I actually had, on a rainy day in the middle of the night, I woke up, I rolled over and I rolled into a wet patch on my bed. As you can see, there was a drip coming from below the little window above the bed. I tend to sleep diagonally, so I was so lucky. My pillows were in the corner next to the back doors, and the leak had come down next to the kitchen side. So I didn't get wet in the night, but when I rolled over, I think it was about 2 a.m, I rolled over and my hand went into the wet, and I was like, what's that? Have I spilt my drink? Have I knocked my drink in the night? Is that gone on the bed? And then I kept putting my hand, and then I put my hand against the headboard as well, and it was all wet, and I was like, oh no. And it was absolutely chucking it down. I could hear a doom, doom, doom. And I was just thinking, oh, balls, what's going on? And I think this was 2.5 weeks in. So I noticed that there was a drip coming down from the window. I presumed at the time that it was the tiny little window that you can just see there that had the silicone had gone. Again, they were the only things we had other people to do. And we've had issues, you know, everything had to get taken back and redone. So my first instinct was quite annoyed. I was like, for God's sake, these people again, shoddy work, da 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 da. Well, turns out, bless my dad, obviously, once again, dad to the rescue. I was working the next day. We had from the morning until 2 p.m, I think, before it was going to rain again for the next 2 days. There's not much I can do at 2 in the morning. I did think about going outside and putting something over it, but then I was like, I don't really have a tarp or anything, and I don't want to go out in the rain. It was absolutely hammering it down. I was like, there's nothing I can do. So I just rolled a tea towel up and put some masking tape against it, and I put a towel down over the wet patch, and I just went back to sleep. And I was like, I'll deal with it in the morning. Not much I can do about it now. The morning comes, I ring my dad straight away, and I'm like, Pops, I've got a problem. There's a leak. So bless his heart, the man comes. I was working. So the man came to meet me and brought a ladder and got on the side of the van on one of my client's drives. So as I was working inside, he was working on the van outside. So he had a look around the side, the little window, and he looked at the silicone and he said it looked really good. But what I'll do, just in case, is I'll cut a V out of the silicone and I'll redo it just to be sure. So he did that. And then after an hour or so, I came back out to check on him. And he said, actually, while I've been up there, he said, the silicone in the window was great. It was still spongy. There was nothing wrong. He couldn't see any holes. So he was like, it looks really good, but I've redone it anyway. Where the problem actually was the big skylight. So I'm there cursing out these other people. It wasn't them. It was me. It was my work that had failed. On the roof last February, we put all of the solar, the fan and the big skylight over my bed. And it was the first piece of silicone I had ever done. My first piece of silicone work that I had ever done. So the skylight's like this. Dad was on the ladder at the back. I was on the roof. He did half of it that side. I did half of it this side. Well, he said when he went up there on the ladder to do the porthole window, he said all of the bit that I'd done around my side, it had all lifted. So the water, I think, had gone underneath it. And then because I've got a vapour barrier on the roof, the vapour barrier has stopped the water dripping down onto my bed, and it has then gone boom, and rushed to the sides of the roof, or sides of the van, if you like. Now, Savannah's, I don't know if you can hear that, she's just going for a litter tray, so I'll be back in a second. Told you the logistics of having a cat in here is nuts. And that's a poo. She's going to go have a poo. So I need to put the fan on because it'll smell. Right, I think she's stopped now. I put a vapour barrier on the roof. I didn't put it on the walls of the van. I only put it on the roof because I was like, that's where all the steam's going to go. You know, that's where I need it the most. I can't remember why I didn't do it on the walls. Anyway, hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Because if I had vapour barriered... Savannah, are you done? Yes, dear. I think you've covered it. I think you've covered it, darling. Yeah, it's covered. There you go. Thank you. Oh, that smells. Oh, Savs. Okay, I'm just going to put the fan on. And then she's gone straight back to the door to sit, to wait to go outside. Oh, gosh. I'm filming a video, dear. I'll let you out soon. So, yeah, not sure why I didn't do it on the outside. However, it has saved me, I think, because the water's run, hit the vapour barrier, gone down this side of the van to where my bed is. If I had vapour barriered the internal walls as well, I would never have known that there was a leak. It would have just carried on going down and collecting at the bottom of the van where the floor is, all behind the vapour barrier. So actually feel very lucky that I didn't do that. And I honestly, I can't remember why. There was some feeling at the time when I just did the roof and I was like, I'm just going to leave it at that. And I don't know why. Well, your gut always knows, doesn't it? So I now know the reason why. Dad went, took off all of my silicone work. I mean, it was the first bit of work I'd ever done. I obviously didn't get it right. And yeah, dad's side stayed and mine didn't. So, you know, just an error on my part because I didn't know what I was doing and I was learning and these things happen. But anyway, he went up, he sorted it. There's been zero problems since, and I feel very lucky that I didn't actually vapour barrier the whole thing, because I think there would have just been a collection of water pooling at the bottom of the wall behind my bed, and that could have been a much bigger problem, couldn't it? So that's one of the modifications we've had to do. You can probably see behind me, I've also put in a mirror, I've put in a kitchen roll holder, I've done a few more mods in the garage just to make sure everything has sections and places and things. I've covered up the pipes with carpet, so a few more bits. But other than that, this is where we are. After a month, I still flipping love it. I'm still so glad I decided to do this. I did go back into the house for one night for Formula One reasons, I think, and I immediately hated it. So overall very positive, but as time goes on, the cat is becoming a real nuisance, and I need to figure out how to get that sorted and how to best serve her, because at the moment her needs are coming before mine. So I'm making sure if she wants to go out, she goes out where she can. But then on the times that I have to, like I said, shut up for bedtime or shut up for meals or anything like that, she then just cries and cries and cries and cries, and she'll run into the cab, and then she'll come into the back, and then she'll want to go in the cab, and then she'll want to come in the back, and it's just a bit of a nightmare. So I'll keep you all apprised and updated on how we go with Savannah. I am doing a proper dedicated video for the cat, so that will come out at some point. But yeah. So overall, hugely positive. Couple of little hiccups as to be expected. Big change in routines and everything like that. So I am still finding my feet, and that's why sort of videos are more sparse at the moment, because like I said, I've lost a day to chores and things like that. So I think as I get better into a routine as to how best manage these things, they will all subside and I will end up getting at least half the day back or something like that. So yeah, so I hope this has been helpful. Hope you have learned something. And one more final thing. So one thing that I didn't even consider would be a problem, but is a problem, is, it's not a problem, it's just a bit annoying. Every single cupboard if you're building a van right now, which I know a lot of you are, if you're building a cupboard, the wood that is on the inside of the cupboard, so you're going to have to put your hands in to put things in, the wood beam, let's say at the top of the opening, chamfer the back of it off or sand the back of it off, because that being a square edge, you catch your hand on it. And I have got so many bruises and cuts and scrapes and things from stuff like that that I just didn't even consider while doing the build. So if you are mid-build, make every edge as rounded as possible. That's the last tip for you. Right. Thank you so much for watching, gang. I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.